you're about to open a window into the life of a ghost hunter. You'll see haunted locations, unexplained things, dark, creepy places, but most importantly, you'll see what happens on the way there.
Hi everybody, I'm Jeff with Virginia Paranormal Investigations, and today, this weekend I should say, we have a 3 investigation weekend. So we're going to show you a window into the life of a ghost hunter on this episode of Gas, Grub, and Ghosts, where we go out to these locations and we investigate them and perhaps make some stops along the way. Now tonight, for the investigation tonight, it's just going to be me and Linda, and we're heading up to Fredericksburg, Virginia. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to run video there, at least not video that we're able to release, but we'll let you know how it goes, and we'll let you know, most importantly, what happens along the way. Not quite as big as the other side, huh?
No.
We still do have some pamphlets over here for local attractions. And a nice cafeteria area over here, right? And they do have the coffee machine.
Yes, now, one thing I also noticed, they have a Starbucks machine down at the end here where you can get the iced or the cold coffee in the bottle. But we don't want any of that. We want hot coffee.
That's right. And Degree, Pepto-Bismol, and Tylenol. And a Virginia's for Lovers pocket knife. Or bottle opener. So we got some gum down here for $2 for double mint. It must be double the flavor, double the price.
Yes.
And meanwhile, the coffee's dispensing over here at this machine. So, a pretty cool idea with the coffee machine. It drops the cup down. We weren't sure because we swiped the credit card and we looked on the side in the dispenser, there were no cups. So we weren't sure if it was one of those ones that drops the cups down and fills it up.
Yes.
Fortunately it was, otherwise there would have been coffee all over the place.
Right.
The dispenser was actually for the lids, which there are none.
Right.
So this will be fun driving down 64 at 70 miles an hour with a lidless coffee cup.
Yes, with a lidless coffee cup full of very hot coffee.
Right.
Piping hot.
Mochaccino,
yes.
per se.
Yeah.
Now, we were wondering, because it took a little while for it to make it.
It did.
And we thought maybe there was a little tiny barista inside the machine, like shaking up the stuff.
Yeah.
And actually brewing the coffee with the amount of time it took.
Right. A kind of a slow barista. Definitely.
But there you have it, machine coffee here at this place. So one cool thing, just a few miles from the location here in Fredericksburg, we found a Sheetz. And this is just a preview of what's going to happen later on tonight after the investigation. Alright, so at the location, there's been a figure that's been seen. It's been chased down the stairs here, and it goes running into this room right here. So, in place we have a trail cam right here, and inside the room we have a thermal pad on the floor, an EMF detector, and then another camera in here to catch anything that enters through the doorway.
So there was another incident that occurred here when the daughter was sitting on the sofa, and she said it was early in the morning, right about 6:30, and she saw what looked like a figure, a dark figure, walk up these steps and up into the kitchen and disappear. Now, she described that this occurred right after she had heard some singing that sounded like a little girl's voice singing, but the spirit itself, or the dark shape itself, looked more like the size of a teenager. So we're curious about that as well.
So our baseline EMF sweep, there are really no high levels down here. There's really no levels at all other than by an electric box, which is over in the laundry room. So we can rule that out as the source of any kind of what's the word? Hallucination or anything like that that's going on affecting people that are down here. Also being that, you know, a lot of the activities experienced, they're upstairs when they hear the stuff going on down here. So we did a sweep upstairs as well. And once again, no high levels at all. Now if something spikes while we're down here, we know there's something here that wasn't there before. So what we're going to do, the room that we're in right now, this is the room where the shadow figure was seen running into. So we have this room set up. Like I said earlier, we have the camera, we have the EMF detector set out in front of the camera, we have the thermal pad. But what we're going to do is a spirit box session. We're going to start off with a spirit box session and see if we can pick up anything trying to communicate with us through the radio here.
Now is oxy mode.
All right. So here we are, downstairs in the basement. I'm Jeff.
I'm Linda.
And we don't mean to impose by any means. We don't mean to be here unwanted. But we'd like to know if there is anybody here with us. If there is, could you please tell us your name?
Something just came through. Didn't really understand what it said, but...
Could you tell us how long you've been here?
There's definitely a little something coming through every so often. It might just be local radio stations. I'm not real sure, but I think we should sit here for a little while longer. Give it more of a chance.
So we finished up our investigation at the private residence. We did another EVP session and a spirit box session upstairs in the master bedroom, where not a lot happened, for the exception of the husband. He saw a dark figure standing there by the bed, reached out, touched the figure, and then chased him down in the basement, where we did the other EVP session and spirit box session. Not a whole lot to see with that investigation, so we didn't run a whole lot of video there.
Right.
You saw the spirit box session downstairs that we did, but we found ourselves back here at that beacon of light in the night.
Yes.
Sheets. So we're gonna go inside here, and this is gonna be the best part of the night so far, I dare to say. So let's check it out. Not just one, but 4 toilet paper dispensers. And so quite the video here that we're watching, right?
Yes.
It's got some good looking food items on there.
Absolutely. It even had the salad that had steak and fries on the salad. I mean,
that's my kind of salad.
Right, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Add some chili and bacon to it, you got yourself a salad.
Yeah, but some of these sandwiches really look good. They have a lot of breakfast sandwiches that are great. So the Walker Breakfast Ranger or something looks amazing.
So as I came back to the Pepsi cooler to look for the Crystal Pepsi, it's no longer anywhere to be found. But nonetheless, as I reach into the depths of the Pepsi cooler, I find something very interesting. And we talked about this before on one of our paranormal pit stops. Pepsi Fire. Oh man, now we tried the slushy version of this, or the Slurpee version at 7-Eleven. So I'm interested in trying the actual Fire Pepsi. So we're gonna let you know all about this. And going with our paranormal theme, they got Coke with Tabitha's name from Bewitched, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that the kid from Bewitched was Tabitha?
I think Tabitha was the mother.
No, that was Edna or something like that.
I thought Edna was the grandmother.
Oh, the mother was Samantha.
Samantha, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tabitha was the kid. You're right.
Yep. So I have this quesarito burrito here, which I'm going with something completely new. I've never tried one of these at Sheetz. I usually get the chicken, popcorn chicken, the boneless bites, or a build your own burger. And keeping with the spicy theme of the night, I got this fire Pepsi that I showed you. And I want to sample this before I bite into this burrito so I can get a clear, pure, uninterrupted taste of this fiery beverage. And it is Pepsi, tastes like Pepsi, but it's got a very strong underlying hint of cinnamon. And the aftertaste is of that of Pepsi and cinnamon kind of mixed together. It's kind of hard, I guess it's not hard to describe. It tastes like Pepsi and cinnamon. So there you have it.
So what I have here is called the Walker Breakfast Ranger. It is a breakfast sandwich made on a bagel. And I think that in one of our previous videos, we had Scott feature this for us at one time.
Did. Yeah.
And it may have been right after St. Albans investigation. But I had never tried it myself, so I'm really excited about being able to try it. It's got, a little bit of everything. Pico, guacamole, red onions, it's got egg. Yeah, it looks amazing, so I am excited about trying it.
So I'm gonna tear into this quesarito here, perhaps with an obnoxious bite. I don't know, look at the size of
That
this
thing is huge.
Yeah. I don't know if I can get my mouth around it.
You've met your match. Now that you've bit it, show us the inside. Let me see what's inside that thing. Ooh,
I forget what I got on it, like jalapenos.
Jalapenos, looks like cheese, some kind of sauce.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that looks pretty good.
Fire roasted tomato sauce.
Oh, nice.
Very good. Very good. So Sheetz is always a good pit stop. And did you know that when I was in the bathroom, they actually have 4 toilet paper dispensers in one stall?
I noticed that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So a plethora of toilet paper
Right.
here at Sheetz, which is a good thing.
It is. And another thing I noticed that I've never seen at any other location is that they have these like metal pieces that come out over top of the roll and bend down just slightly. Now this serves 2 functions. It not only keeps people from fondling the toilet paper and getting their grimy hands on it.
Oh yeah, I hate grimy.
But it also serves as an edge. When you tear the toilet paper out, you can just jerk it up and it nicely rips off the toilet paper.
The toilet paper.
Genius.
Nothing like ripping off the toilet paper.
I know. But it's just genius.
It is. And we managed to carry ourselves out of there after eating that burrito and the Walker Breakfast Ranger or whatever that was called, and the trio appetizer sampler.
Right.
And now we're back on the road. I don't know where the road's going to lead us tonight, but I know at the end of it tonight we're going to be bedding down for a couple hours and back on the road to the next investigation, which is 2 p.m. later today at this point.
Right.
It's the day. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Ghosts do come out in the day. We do believe that. So we are doing a daytime investigation, which will be the second in our 3 investigation weekend. So we decided to take 17 back from Fredericksburg instead of I-95.
Yes.
And we do like 17 because for the most part, it's a dark, creepy road, which is definitely our kind of road. It beats the interstate.
Absolutely.
So it's the next morning, or later on in the morning, I should say, because it was kind of the morning when we went to sleep, close to 4 o'clock, and we're back here in Yorktown, Virginia. And today, we're getting on the road and we're heading up to meet up with the rest of the team, or some members of the team, I should say. And then we're going to do our first investigation in Charlottesville. And Linda's bringing this cookie that we brought with us last night, right? And didn't eat it, and it went all the way up there to Fredericksburg.
Right.
Back down to Yorktown. And now this cookie's gonna go for a ride up to Charlottesville, and I venture to say it's probably gonna go from there to Buena Vista and then back down to Yorktown again.
No, it's gonna go from there into my mouth.
Ooh.
Because you never know when you might want something sweet on the road, and you don't have to stop and pay for it.
That's
right?
exactly right. And this Goose Creek water bottle came in pretty handy. We picked this up at Goose Creek on our last expedition, and it's a durable water bottle.
They are.
We've been refilling it, reusing
plastic.
it. Yeah, and it still looks like new.
I know.
But it's not Goose Creek water anymore.
No.
Of course, because we refilled it.
Yeah.
So, on the road. So a typical Saturday here in this part of Virginia, in the Hampton Roads area, where you get on 64 and it's stop and go traffic for about the first 3 hours of the drive, and then you're in Williamsburg. You made it about 15 miles down the road, and sometimes it's clear sailing from there.
Sometimes.
But then we get to go to 295 and 95,
Right.
which may present a similar situation.
Yes.
You never know. We're on the road here to Charlottesville from Richmond. We got Nikki in the back there. She's doing some research on the go on some of these names that we got. And Linda has decided to unwrap the cellophane from this cookie that's been with us since yesterday. It's been to an investigation and back, and then halfway up to this one.
Yes.
What could go wrong?
Exactly. But I think I'm going to find out. So a closer look at that thing there.
It was actually part of a cookie cake.
Oh man, a cookie cake.
Yeah.
All right, now I can't hold the phone and eat that, or can I? So here goes.
Say a prayer for the folks in the back seat.
Just leave me a jar.
No. White icing on a black shirt.
Oh, you got it on your shirt?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Man, that cookie's really good. Nikki, you should try a piece of this cookie.
No, I'm all right. Your voice has this like permanent sarcastic lilt that makes me very suspicious.
So we're stopped here at a Walmart in Charlottesville, Virginia, where we were originally going to RV with Scott. But we're going to head out to the location and meet him there. And I don't know if we're going to be able to videotape in the location, but if we can, we will. If not, we'll fill you in on how it went. You know, I haven't seen
Yeah, looks like
this.
it would.
Yeah, I mean, this is good because it's got mirrors from all different angles of it.
Right, the copper.
Religious
And
symbols.
Yes.
the religious symbols as well.
Sorry.
No, that's awesome. So we're walking along the residence here, around the house, doing a baseline EMF sweep, and Nikki's got the compass, which is going to act as an EMF detector as well, kind of a backup, you know. But do you hear that noise? Now, what is that?
She called it an X something frequency emitter. It's supposed to keep spirits out of your house. Think of it as a paranormal dog whistle.
Yes. So the activity that's been going on here is there's been a lot of energies in the house. There's been a figure seen in the living room, an Indian that goes around the living room as well, and it made it very difficult. So this sound is a frequency that apparently neutralizes paranormal activity. And I think I
Available on Amazon.
Amazon.com, but I might take the ghosts over that because
It's a heck of a noise.
yeah, if I hear that long enough, I'm going to start. I mean, when you turn it off, your ears would be ringing, and jeez.
It
All right.
repels people too.
Yes. So we're trying to pinpoint the source of this noise, and what is
The
that?
computer speakers. She's got it playing through the computer speakers.
Oh, okay. So it's like on constant play through the computer speakers.
Yeah, she might have purchased an MP3.
Interesting. What we're doing now is we finished up our sweep inside, and really not a lot of high levels of EMF. Really not. We turned on some lights, and you know, obviously from the lights there was some EMF, and the fan in the bathroom, and some of the light switches, but really, actually pretty low compared to a lot of the places we've been in. So the last thing we're doing is we're doing a sweep of the outside yard around the house and seeing if we can pick up anything out here, any unusually high levels, and then we're going to go inside and see what we're going to do next as far as the investigation goes.
I know there's a high level of heat out here.
Or go straight to the source. I did ask.
You said the hot spot was up there
In her bedroom.
Yeah.
And then she said that you also see figures walking back and forth in the hallways.
Yes.
So if we sit in the main hallway, then we can kind of get all at once.
Yeah, we might be in their main passageway.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, at the very least, then we'd have an eye into that bedroom.
Right.
So, that the plan, I would
I think so. All right, so we got the spirit box going up here, and got the recorder going.
Yes.
And we don't mean to trespass or to intrude. We don't mean to be here unwanted by any means or to impose. But we heard there was, the people that live here, they've seen some weird things up here in the hallway. And we want to know if there's anybody up here with us. We have this device here. You may be able to communicate with us through.
If there is someone here, can you tell us your name? Very quiet. It usually is. This particular one has been very quiet since we got it. I don't know why.
I'm Jeff.
I'm Linda.
Nikki.
Could you tell us your name?
We are not here to intrude or to harm you in any way. We simply want to communicate with you and find out your motives, your intent with this house and this family.
Listen, we're not asking you to leave either. We just want to know who's here and why you're here. Could you please tell us your name?
How long have you been here?
Did you used to live nearby or perhaps on this land at one time?
This is how I prepare to ask a question. How many of you are here with us?
So we did a little session right here outside the closet door in the master bedroom, and nothing really definitive. We turned on the ERS Paratech app on the phone and ran that for a while. It spit out some things that seemed like they were words that we hear all the time, just typical database words. We also ran the digital voice recorder at the same time and recorded it, and we ran the spirit box at some point. So we had tried a variety of things, and it did seem like the spirit box was spitting out a few things that we're going to have to go back and analyze the audio to be able to discern exactly what was said. So hopefully we get something more interesting with the spirit box than we did the ERS Paratech app.
So we're sitting here in the living room, and we got the recorder going for an EVP session. And I'm Jeff.
Linda.
Nikki.
And we don't mean to impose at all. We don't want to be here unwanted. But we would like to know if there's anybody else here with us. If there is, could you please tell us your name?
How many of you are there?
Why do you come here?
All right, so we're leaving the location here, and we're gonna head down to back to the Walmart where we're gonna meet Scott. He wasn't able to make it for this investigation, so we're gonna take him with us for the second one. And it looks like there's a little bit of a storm rolling in here. You can hear some thunder rumbling in the background. It might have interfered with our last EVP session, but we wrapped it up with an EVP session down in the living room and a spirit box session as well. And we'll see what we can find from that. If we find anything, of course, we'll post the evidence on our website, vaparanormal.com. But let's get on the road, get on down to that Walmart.
Well, I shaved. It was getting really hot, and I have this sleep apnea machine, so I need a good suction on my face. For a while, I had the chops going, but it was just getting weird, and I experimented with it, and I butchered it. So
Right.
I
I thought about
started
doing the
out
chops
clean.
myself. Actually.
Yeah, I started out clean, like I just came out of
yeah.
the military. See?
Wow, yeah.
Look at that.
Cut my own
Man.
hair. Yeah. So this is my tricorn hat. It's makeshift.
Oh,
sort
nice.
of, you know.
Like a modern. It's got a
I'm
modern
trying to
twist
bring
to
the
it,
style
kind of.
back, you know, from
Yeah, I
1700s.
like that.
Yeah, I told Jeff that he ought to start wearing his tricorn hat more often, just with his t-shirt and blue jeans, and bring it back.
Like a cowboy hat.
I'm a history enthusiast.
Only with-
so yeah, like
It would make sense. I mean,
trying to
Yeah.
it's kind
Maybe
of a cool
spirits
hat.
would be more willing to talk to us.
Right.
Maybe.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Right now, you can't blame them for not talking to us.
Right. Right.
Yeah, we look pretty weird.
People don't want to talk to us. I don't
Right.
know. Let alone ghosts. But so we're going up here to Buena Vista now, and the nature of this case is interesting because it involves children that are seeing spirits. One is seeing a spirit of a man who appears to be burnt,
Right.
and a very evil spirit, mean spirit,
Yes.
I guess is the word for it. And the other child is seeing the spirit of another child and the mother, and they're all connected somehow. So
Right.
we'll tell you a little bit more about that as we figure out more about it, and see if we can do some video in at the investigation there.
Hello there. I'm trying to decide what I want to get here at
There's
Sheetz.
a lot of decisions.
It's a very decision-oriented place, and I'm indecisive right now. I don't know what I want to eat, so I'm trying to judge how long we're going to be investigating, and then when we're going to come back. So I gotta get the right amount of something before I go in there. I can't go in there hungry. Can't go hunting on an empty stomach. You know what I mean? So.
We try not to get a bunch of food here, because then I want to eat later. But at the same time, I'm kind of hungry now. But I did just have that big pizza at the last place. They ordered pizza for us.
Oh, yeah. I didn't get that pizza, so I gotta find something a little heavier, but not
Right.
too heavy. So how long are we gonna be there for?
I don't know. It could be 2 hours, 4 hours. I don't know. And then we're talking about Poorhouse Tunnel after that.
Yeah. Oh,
So
yeah. It's gonna be real.
I don't know.
So I'll use these screens to help me decide.
Yeah. Now you found something interesting over here.
I did. I found something we haven't seen outside of Pennsylvania and Delaware. We found a whole section, an end cap, if you will, of Martin's potato.
Martin's potato chips.
Yes.
Get out of here. How awesome is this?
Yep.
Now I'm not leaving here without some Martins.
I kind of figured that's it, but I'm going to stick to my old Utz sweet corn flavored, I think.
Oh, the sweet corn flavor.
Yes.
Yeah, that is a good one. What do you got there?
On the list of
These were called
previous
sliders.
owners of the
But
home,
yeah.
there's a Brit
Instead of a burger
who's
bun, they put it in a.
26. And so
kind of a
I dug
burrito.
into her
A
little
burger and a
more,
burrito?
found a record
Yeah, I wasn't
of a bunch
expecting
Show
it.
me the inside of that. Let's take a.
Well, you got cheese and burger, caramelized
Creme
onions.
brulee.
And after that, she
Onions.
vanishes.
Caramelized
Facebook
onions. That's what I was
hasn't been
trying to
active
say.
since 2015.
And
Her boyfriend's Facebook
little bit of
hasn't been
mayonnaise.
activated since
I wasn't expecting the
2015.
burrito.
And there's a boy
When I
around
opened
the
it, I
age
was a
that
little
Elliot's
disappointed
supposed
because I
to
was
be
expecting
in a
the
bunch of
buns.
pictures.
But I decided to roll with it
Name
because
on
I'm like,
it.
hey, it's not a bad idea. Low
But it's still
carb.
super curious.
So
But
it's
couldn't
not
find
bad.
the
It's
obituary
like little
either.
tiny
so she could
burritos.
very
It
well
looks
be-
pretty good. And I actually had a quesarito last night. Just go back to earlier in this video if you missed it. If you're just tuning in, and you'll see that quesarito that I had last night. It's
yeah.
pretty good too. Also at Sheetz.
Are you periscoping?
So we made our stop at Sheetz, as you could see from earlier when we were inside, and we met up with Daniel here. And tell us what you're going to be doing tonight.
I am a PhD candidate at the University of Virginia, and I'm researching ghost hunting in America. So I'm going to be learning more about how this process works. Interviewed a lot of people, haven't been on that many ghost hunts yet or investigations, so I'm excited.
So it should be a good time, and maybe it'll be an interesting investigation, and see what happens. And here we are in Buena Vista.
Buena.
Buena Vista. And you can see the beautiful mountain ranges ahead of us here as we're crossing over the water. I didn't catch the name of it, but
little bit up in here, about 70. Usually it's got 3 heaters in here.
Yeah.
I'll turn it up to about 62, enough to kill off the chill and then turn it around.
So, Jeff, how do you want to execute this
Well,
investigation?
I'm thinking maybe we take a trail cam, right? And we can put this facing down the hallway because I see the figure that comes out of the door in the bedroom. And this will catch all the doorways, all the bedroom doorways. So if anything passes. Now the thing is, we've got another trail cam. Where would you think we should put something like that?
I'm thinking probably the room that's most haunted.
Right.
But are we going to be in that room? So.
Well, either way, we can still put it in there. The only thing is, I don't know if this is going to be too conducive to EVP sessions because of all the background noise and stuff.
True.
So,
okay.
That may be a feat there.
We'll give it a try.
But we can still do the spirit box and the.
That's a very nice thing you did. Can you imagine being stuck in the same house and not getting to act like a kid? That must
You know, there's a spot on the bed where there's something that sits down. We can put that thermal pad down there and see if that picks up any kind of prints.
Yeah, I saw that up on the sign over there.
Yeah. So this is the son's room, and on the TV, which is up here, is where the screen had froze and a face that came up on the screen. Also on the bed here, they've had an imprint as if someone was sitting there. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this thermal pad here. That way, if there is anything that frequently touches this part of the bed, we're going to pick up its imprint on the thermal pad. We also have a trail cam back here facing the TV, and there's another trail cam facing down the hallway. So if there's any activity in this hallway or in this bedroom, we should be able to pick it up between the 2 trail cams.
So we just sat down, the family, and went through a handful of photos. A few were just randomly taken from the internet of various children and people. A few of them are previous owners of the house, whose names, at least to a certain extent, match up with some of the names given from the stories. So far, no matches, nobody was recognized, so we might be dealing with somebody else.
Right, so we might be able to rule them out. We can rule them out as being the spirits.
Correct.
That were here.
So we have kind of a random electromagnetic spike in a sort of cabinet, a wall cabinet that's in the child's bedroom. Now, this was a cabinet that was given to the family when the husband had done some work for someone else and they couldn't afford to pay him. So they gave him this cabinet. Supposedly it's just full of things like blankets and sheets and stuff, linens. So there's really no reason why it ought to be setting this thing off, but it's definitely setting it off.
Yeah, let's go take a look on
Did somebody
film.
say sheets?
Yeah, sheets. Not the restaurant.
So we have this cabinet here, right there.
Oh yeah, that looks pretty old. And you said it was given to them
Yes.
by a family friend, or?
Given to them by a man that they did some work for, and the man could not afford to pay them, so they sent this cabinet and another one, and they're fairly old, so.
Well, we got to see what could be in there. It could always be a child's toy.
Yeah.
Something battery operated or such. But looking through the cracks, it does look like mostly blankets and sheets in there. So.
Yeah.
But it is giving off a.
Yeah, I
can
think
see it's
that
giving off a steady
they'd like to see what's
flow.
in it, 'cause it-
Ready. Okay, so we're here in the son's bedroom where he's seen a figure, and what we'll do is we'll start off by saying our names, make sure that nobody whispers so that we don't mistake that for anything supernatural.
Yeah, you can speak. By all means, just make sure you speak in a normal voice, normal tone.
And I'm Jeff.
I'm Linda.
Daniel. Joe.
I'm Scott.
And we don't mean to impose by any means. We don't mean to be here unwanted. But we heard that there was somebody that comes in here at night, sits on the bed, maybe plays around with the TV, and we'd like to know who you are. We're not asking you to leave or anything like that, but we want to know some information about you. Could you tell us your name?
Did you used to live on this land or in this house?
Do you sit on this bed?
we have a device here, and there's two of them. If you come near it, if you come near this here, it might beep for us and let us know that you're here. Or if you touch this pad, we might be able to see your handprint. Can you do that for us? So we finished up our EVP session in the son's room, and now what we're going to do is we're going to go through. Linda's going to wear these headphones with the spirit box, and one of the investigators is going to ask questions while she listens through, and she's not going to hear the question, so she won't be biased at all to the answer that she hears, and she's going to shout out what answer she hears as we go along and see if it's any relation to the question that was asked.
Hello. So we're here. We have this little black box here in Linda's hand. I'm going to ask you a few questions, and if you like, you can try to use this black box to communicate with us. Can you tell me your name?
Sort of like Sarah's name or seriously.
Could you talk to us, please? I just asked, for the sake of the spirit box and for the investigation, for whoever was here to touch us, and within a moment of me asking the question, had a weird sensation across my legs. That was Linda letting us know that she heard the phrase, "you will see," or "we will see," come over the spirit box. She's the only one who can hear it with the headset. But the strange feeling over my legs was almost like a hair or a thin piece of cloth going over. Could easily be nothing, but the timing was a little too perfect. Is there anyone here who would like to talk with us? Linda still has this black box in her hand. If you'd like to tell us a little bit about yourself, you can talk through that, and she'll be able to hear you.
I had the munchies.
Children's chicken nuggets. Fiend. Did something violent happen here?
I have this instinct when I see a fridge. I like to open it, even when it's not mine. But this case, I asked him, like, could you hold my drink for me, keep it cool, so it's all good.
Alright, so what's going on here, Linda?
I just had this urge to go outside for a few minutes, and I'm not sure what I'm doing or why I'm doing it.
Okay, so we're going outside.
I'm gonna kind of follow with it. Sorry, triple, I'm slow. Sorry. You're good.
So we've come outside now, and Linda still has her little black box that she can hear you with. If you'd like to say anything to us while we're out here, you can use that box to talk to us.
Want to go to my, and it cut off.
Is there something out here you'd like us to see? Something we should be looking for? During my research, what I've pulled up is a list of previous tenants of the home. It's not necessarily people who've owned it, but people who have had mail delivered here and such. And Linda, when she went back with the spirit box, was very, very drawn to the house directly behind this one. I've pulled up the address and such so I can dig into that specific home later. But when I went in and checked with the current residents, they said that one of the names on my list of residences for this home now lives at the home behind. At least the wife does. The husband, they're no longer together.
And that's the house that Linda said was significant.
Yes.
That she took us out and said that was significant. That is interesting. Now, where did you get this from? Was this some kind of something you heard through the spirit box, or an impulse, or what?
No, it wasn't heard through the spirit box. It was more of an impulse, at least an impulse to come outside. You know, like I said, I just kind of get feelings every so often, and I try to follow the feelings, follow my instinct. I don't by any means call myself a psychic or even sensitive, but I know enough to follow your gut when your gut's telling you to do something. And when I walked out there, I kept looking around, and that one house for some reason was drawing my attention the most. And perhaps maybe something about the shed that's out there too, but I'm not sure what that's. Maybe there's something in the shed that's of significance, but I don't know.
So that's another interesting thing, that this all used to be swamp that was drained, and when Linda was out there with the spirit box, she got something that sounded like
soft dirt.
Soft dirt. I'm not sure if we got that on the video.
Right.
But for documentation purposes, it happened.
Yes.
Soft dirt. And also, this area flooded in 1969.
Right, right.
So two things that could, cause soft dirt.
Absolutely.
So interesting that she got soft dirt out back, and that it was called frog bottom.
Right.
So cool. We were out here in the yard. We came back out to the back corner. We did an EVP session. While the EVP session was being done, I had a spirit box session going. I had the headphones on, and some interesting things, some interesting replies, perhaps.
Yes, definitely. We were asking about, one of the stories was that this Mr. Garrison guy, had burnt down the house. So I asked, where was the house that was burnt down? And Jeff, without hearing what I was asking, of course, immediately responded, here. And he had heard this come through the spirit box. So that was a kind of an interesting thing. Another response that we got was public, when we were asking about, is there a message that you would like to pass on? So we don't know if this was something related. It could have been related, considering that somebody might be afraid to, make their feelings or their thoughts public. So it's hard to tell.
Also, shortly after we introduced ourselves, there was Jeff mentioned males present, and
right.
That's
guys here, I think, was one as
well.
well.
Yeah, and guys here.
Male vocabulary.
Right.
A lot of choppy male vocabulary going on, so we tried to hit on that, but we didn't get anything after that. So it was interesting coincidences,
yes,
nonetheless.
All right, so we broke down our equipment here in Buena Vista, and some interesting stuff that we found out at the end there.
Mm-hmm.
Who can debrief on that? Maybe.
Hey. So one of the things that was really interesting about this case is every time we thought that something we heard wasn't relevant or, was worth ignoring, we'd get more information from the homeowner that seemed to tie the evidence to the research, to the stories from the kids. So at the very end, when we were out in the back and they said there was a fire here, she first of all let us know that she's been finding pottery in her backyard that seemed to be singed, as well as some long housing nails, and that a house that used to stand 2 doors down from her burned down. So the children had said that a mother and son died in a fire that was set intentionally. We at least have some evidence to a fire. So who knows what we'll find on the EVPs.
So we're going to pack it up and we're going to get back on the road and see where the night takes us. So while we're out here near Lexington, we realize that we're only a few miles from Poorhouse Tunnel. And how could we be so close to Poorhouse Tunnel without paying it a visit and perhaps seeing what we can stir up out there? So we got kind of a fourth investigation, if you will, to add to this 3 investigation weekend. Not really an investigation, but we're gonna go out there and check it out and show you what Poorhouse Tunnel is all about. All Alright, so here we are coming up the creepy road that leads to Poorhouse Tunnel. So you remember the story with this road?
I do, actually. A number of years ago, they're not sure exactly how long ago, there were two little girls that were playing in the woods nearby, and some man happened upon them and just shot them. Cold-blooded murder for no reason. So then there was another woman who I believe had gone to a local bar, and she ended up getting a ride with the wrong guy out of the bar. He brought her up here into the tunnel, killed her, and supposedly her spirit haunts the tunnel as well.
Oh, interesting. So, let's take a look inside and see if we hear anybody whispering to come on.
Well, who's gonna go first?
Man, that water is really rushing today.
And we did decide to leave the headlights on just in case someone comes down here in a vehicle, for safety reasons, of course. It has nothing to do with fear of anything. So here's the little brook that runs alongside of it. And we kind of thought last time that maybe this triggered some of the whispers in here. Because if you listen, it kind of sounds like voices coming through the tunnel. Doesn't it? The way the stream kind of comes through, it kind of sounds like.
Anyone want to play? Huh?
That's
Oh.
I just can't get over the architecture.
I know.
I'm a nerd for old brick.
Yeah, it is quite the brickwork in here, isn't it?
Yeah, it's stunning.
It does sound like, definitely sounds like voices in there. And what are you thinking,
Sounds
Scott?
like an old radio because of the water.
I think it actually could be the water that's creating somewhat of an acoustical effect, because the water wisping down. However, I can tell with the water that it's like a louder or a deeper roar. But every now and then I do hear like what does sound like little girls' voices, and I'm not sure if that would be the water making that noise either. So it's interesting.
I think right here might be about the spot where you can hear the voices, or what sounds like the voices.
Yeah. And it's about a foot out from the actual entrance.
I'm gonna try to get no one talking video, because the video I tried, you couldn't hear the voice phenomenon.
Okay.
Somebody ran through here. Footprints in the cement. They almost do look like footprints. That's
I mean,
interesting.
they're footprint size.
some idiot walking through the concrete.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is a little experiment. I'm going to run down to the end of the tunnel and run back. Maybe something might happen, I don't know. But you don't know until you try.
That's right. That's absolutely right. So it doesn't hurt to try.
So here it goes. It was really creepy when I went down there. So I just realized I was all by myself. And I could have got murdered or something. But I didn't get anything paranormal per se. So at least we could rule that out as a experiment. It's unbelievable. There's a bowl.
Oh yeah, look at that. I see what they did there.
That's pretty good, huh? I like that.
So, sure enough, we decided on Waffle House. And we found a fairly nice looking Waffle House here in Lexington, if we're still in Lexington.
I think so.
I'm not sure. It was a couple miles down the road from Poorhouse Tunnel.
Yeah.
But here we are, so it's been a while. Let's see what's on the menu. Nikki, what do you got there?
I have a T-bone steak that I am smothering in runny egg yolk.
Oh man, look at that thing. It looks nice and greasy and juicy.
That's kind of what you want in Waffle House. It's
Yeah.
greasy and juicy and maybe with a speck of dirt on it. Like
Exactly, a little added flavor maybe, perhaps. Scott, what do you got over there? Do you have?
I don't have anything yet.
Reaching for a T-bone.
you made your decision. It was wrong and now you have to live with it.
So you got
I thought about that.
breakfast bowl.
Right. It's hash browns with cheese and it's got scrambled eggs and it's got you could have your choice of bacon or sausage or something else. But
You got the sausage.
I did. I like sausage.
Not a bad choice, I don't think at all.
Yeah, I definitely like sausage.
So I got the patty melt and the hash browns. The hash browns are smothered, covered, peppered, and diced, which means they have cheese, they have onions, they have jalapenos, and diced tomatoes in them, which I'm really excited about trying.
I'm all set, thank you.
And I got this Waffle House sauce. It says try it on everything, so I think I'm going to put some of that on my patty here. Why not? Try it on everything, right? I have no idea what it tastes like. I've never tried it before, but I'll cover this patty in it and sample two things at once here, the sauce and the patty, right? Mm-hmm. All right, so here we go. A little bite here to see if I can kind of.
Okay, so what I did is I ordered an all-star meal, and I constructed my own sandwich with it. You see, you got a piece of sausage under there with eggs that already exploded and some grits.
Oh man!
And I like to explode the yolk so it's all nice and gooey.
Yeah, nice sloppy yolk.
Yeah. So I dip it in there.
Oh man! Look at that obnoxious bite.
Oh God.
Oh man, that looks pretty good. Look at that salmon.
Yeah.
So what'd you guys get over here?
I got one of those bowls.
Hi, Jeff. Documenting my embarrassing moment.
Yeah, what happened in the bathroom?
So my delicious steak left a little drop on my favorite dress. So being the classy lady I am, when I went into the bathroom, I went down to like get it off my dress and ended up getting bright red lipstick on either side of the steak stain.
Yeah, because
So
they
now-
don't have any like
paper
towels
towels
in the
or
bathroom
anything.
Yeah.
So now I've got like a stained sandwich of lipstick, steak, and lipstick on my favorite white and black dress.
Yeah, their napkins were a little weak. They're like tiny little holders. You gotta get it out and keep it up.
And you can't use TP because it just shreds into a
They were
million
weak
little
napkins.
pieces.
I blew my nose with one and it went right through it.
The ghosts were twisting and stomping all around the town, just dancing to the beat of the Mercy sound, laughing and screaming, it's a mighty roar, coming through the wall.